Serious strippers of Reddit. What do you really think of the people that see you perform? Was male stripper for a bit. My opinion, it's all types for all reasons. Passing judgment on folks generally just makes you less approachable. There are good folks who like gyrating naked people, but are awkward socially and have lots of money. Creepy is still creepy. Considerate is still considerate. Only difference is I'm not wearing pants. Ex-stripper. The guys that came in and knew the deal were great. Tip the girl on stage. Get a lap dance. Be polite. The worst were the guys that thought they were smarter than the strippers or that they could somehow game us. Like, one guy I remember went on a whole rant about how smart he was because he could tell it was all fake and the girls weren't really attracted to the men. Yeah dude, you're a genius. Or when they think they're funny by degrading the women. It's not funny and you're the one that looks bad. Honestly, for the most part one didn't think about the guys much at all. I was on autopilot most of the time and didn't judge them any more than thinking who looks interested in a private dance or who was a douchebag I wanted to avoid. You get your share of creeps, but mostly where I worked a long time ago. A lot of young groups of guys just looking for a good time. Every once in a while you have someone who has too good of a time and gets rowdy and acts like an idiot. Granted I only work 2 to 3 nights a week. People who dance full time, especially during the day, have a whole different kind of crowd to deal with, but customers are generally all the same. Just looking for something to distract them from life for a while. Feels like a lifetime ago that I danced. My husband and I go together now every once in a while to get a private dance for a while and it's way more fun being on the other side. Generally depends on what kind of customer that person is really. The best kind is a dude who understands that it is all a game. They tip well. They are sociable and polite. May even be regulars with certain girls and are never a problem. The entire club staff loves guys like this. The ones that the dancers hate. The I don't pay for dances guy who thinks that line will somehow make him desirable for dancers. Captain Save-A-Ho. His trademark line goes something like you are too beautiful / smart / amazing to be doing this. If you get with me, you can leave this behind. The pimps that go around asking the girls if they want to make some real money are real pieces of shit as well. Then there was the ones that I really had a personal dislike for. The dudes who would try and wait in the parking lot at the end of the night because Cinnamon and I really had a connection, you know. She told me to wait for her. No she didn't buddy. If Cinnamon told you that, she did so knowing that I would be kicking everybody out of the parking lot before the dancers left for the evening. The strip club industry is a weird place. Source, longtime strip club bouncer. Ex-stripper here. Of course I encountered all different types. But I'm here to mention one type in particular, my favorite. There were a lot of customers who were lonely or didn't have anyone to talk to who would really listen to them. They figured out that they could come in and pay for company. I would sit at the table with one of my regulars for a few hours and just talk. I made a point of showing that I valued them as a person and was genuinely interested in their conversation. He knew that he was taking up my time and every so often would hand me another bill. I didn't pity them. I respected them for figuring out a way to engage with other humans and satisfy their need for connection. Edit again because I'm dense sometimes and meant the first edit to go on a comment I replied with. Depends on the person. I've had stalkers follow me home. Creeps who tried to get violent with me at work. People who pissed me off. I've also met some really wonderful people I'm fine with calling my friends. I just had a baby and invited 2 ex-customers to my baby shower in June. Edit. Holy cow. This is my highest rated comment ever. Thanks for all of the well wishes and replies. Everyone. You all brightened up my afternoon. Ex-stripper here. Most of them were cool. We had one old guy named Cummer Steve that would get dances from the new girls and whip his dick out and jizz in their hair. He always had in his wallet that he would hand over before they made him leave. Occasionally a douchebag would come in, but they got handled pretty quickly. I once had a guy hold up a bill and ask what he could get for that. I cheerfully snatched it out of his hand and told him that he could watch my ass as I walked away. Edited for more context as some people are super riled up about this guy grabbed my ass as I walked by. I suspect it wasn't the first time he'd done it. I shoved his hand away from my body and told him that if he wanted a dance, they started at. He then held up and asked what he could get for that. His options at that point were pretty much get punched in the dick by someone, curb stomped on his way out by the guys at the door, or lose. I think his friends were relieved as he had been a total asshole all night and he behaved himself after that and no one got kicked out. I hope they like what I'm doing and that they spend a lot of money on me and we have a good time. About as much as I've thought about the people I interact with in any other service job. Sometimes guys seem lonely or delusional and that can be hard to deal with, but otherwise as long as you aren't smelly, prejudiced, pushy or wearing sweatpants you're good with me. My girlfriend used to be a stripper. From what she's told me, as long as you're respectful and polite they aren't thinking much about you at all. More likely to be thinking about what they're gonna have for dinner later. I've dated like 4 strippers. Some for a few years. I think their opinions were mostly that the dudes were chill. There were the he tried to shove his finger in my pussy, so I broke it nights. The he got a champagne room for 3 hours with 3 girls and fell asleep, so we got drunk type nights. Indian dudes seemed to do the weirdest shit. A couple dudes just got naked in the lap dance booth or champagne room and got kicked out. One, my girlfriend said she left for less than a minute to check in with the bouncer and returned and the dude was naked and had nicely folded his clothes next to him. Weirdly sweet but horrifying. They threw him out naked. The thing I noticed though is that after a few years most of them really started to low-key hate men. It's just generally they get exposed to men continually at their worst or most horny. I think it ended up being toxic. Strippers for bucks parties or strippers in clubs? Strippers at bucks parties don't usually hang around long enough, 20-30 minute maximum, so interaction with guys is limited to just during the show. You mainly hear guys in clubs more so want to chat because they are either lonely, like the attention briefly, or become regulars and make friends with the girls. What strippers really think is about the money. At every job you go to there is always the same personalities, they just look different. You have the arrogant guy, the nice guy, the shy guy, the funny insecure guy, the drug addict, the alcoholic, the drunk touchy guy, the guy who thinks is super good looking and you should want him, the narcissist. It's more so about the different roles a stripper can take on when working for all of the above guys. Counselor, best friend, cleaning lady for when he spills his drink, the comedian to make them laugh, security guard for other girls, the dominatrix because they want to be playfully hurt in some way. The list goes on. The more you spend stripping you more learn about social psychology. I hope I'm not stealing the question, since I was just a server at a boobs and wings place, which a lot of people, myself included, sort of consider junior level stripping. Same as most of the other answers here, in that most everyone was cool. A few jerks here and there. But what struck me was how many older, lonely, divorced, widowed or single guys desperately needed to be around female energy. They were also sweet, polite, courteous and more often than not generous if they could afford it. Some couldn't and that was fine too. I always got the impression they came to our place because it was there. We could have been selling ice cream wearing 50s housewife attire and they still would have showed up. It wasn't about the skimpy clothing at all to these guys. Just the chance to be around women who knew their name, their job, their story, etc. It always made me very happy we were there, but sad that society seemed so disconnected that we were maybe the only place they felt comfortable going where they wouldn't be judged for what was simply a human need to be around other people of the opposite sex in a non-sexual way. I used to have a girlfriend who was a stripper, and sometimes I'd visit her at work and hang out with her and her co-worker buddies when it was slow. One time when we were doing this, another stripper sat down with us and said, "Cool. I just got 10 straight lap dances with Bob." I asked, "Which one is Bob?" No one said anything. Then one of the girls giggled. My girlfriend said, Jeremy. They're all Bob." former stripper. I absolutely loved working with guys who were nice and respected my time and boundaries. They truly make the job fun, and I would show my appreciation by making the dance a little wilder. If a guy would try and talk to me forever and not get a dance, I was offended. I always said my conversation was priceless and they should be paying me double just to talk, or try and get me to see him outside without spending money. If a guy spent a lot on me, I wouldn't mind meeting him for a drink after work to spend some time talking, or try and grab at me. I would truly look down on him. I had guys who were straight up abusive a few times, and that's not fun. I had guys that were into haggling as a sexual kink, and that was shitty. I hated it when they'd try and get a twofer or discount. Like, dude, I'm a hot chick taking my clothes off between your legs. Please don't insult me by saying $20 is too much for the privilege. My favorite customers were the ones that wanted to have actual fun. One guy ordered us a pizza and taught me karate moves. One guy just wanted to smoke weed and play Mario 3 on a Gamma Boy. One guy would pay me to tell jokes on stage. I had a guy in a wheelchair just wanted to have some wild chicks show him a good time. They stand out to me all this time later because they made the job fun and joyful. Mostly it was depressing creeps, but there were some real sweethearts in there, and I still think of them with affection. I dated a stripper for a while. No, we didn't meet at the club. We were 18, and she looked super young. She liked some of her regulars, but she would often get married guys in there, and she absolutely hated them. Not that she wouldn't take their money, because she wanted to just have fun and not worry about ruining people's marriages. She also disliked the people that were old enough to be her dad, because there were a lot of old creepy people who would proceed to show her pictures of their kids who were around her same age. In general though, as long as people tipped well and didn't make things awkward, she seemed to really enjoy most of her clients. Also, never ask your stripper out. She probably doesn't like you. And also don't propose to them, because that makes it super awkward. They're just people. No one proposes to cute girls out of the blue. There's no way to handle that situation that ends well. A girl, went to a strip bar one time with a friend's bachelor party. The only ladies' bathroom was back with the girls. I went back there, and it was hilarious. They were shit talking all of the customers, and just let me join right in. They were a blast. I had so much fun the rest of the night. It just depends on how they behave. Wanting to have a good time and be around nice, pretty girls and see some titties is perfectly normal to me. What makes me not like them is when they don't understand what I'm there for. Customers who understand that I'm providing a fantasy experience in exchange for money are the best. I don't mind if they want to flirt, talk dirty, or squeeze as long as they stay respectful/playful and are paying me accordingly. Customers who think they can do or say whatever they want to me without tipping, or because they threw a couple ones at me, are the ones I don't like. And the customers who think just because they are giving me money I no longer have boundaries. If you're not tipping, or only tipping a little, don't try to grab me when I walk by. Don't make nasty comments to me. Don't sit at the stage and stare all night and only tip. And even if you are spending money on me, there are things that I'm and am not okay with you doing, which I will happily explain if you ask before you try it. And don't waste our time. We are there to make money. So if a dancer sits and starts talking to you and you're not planning to get a dance, tell her that. Just give her a couple dollars for the conversation and politely say you're not interested. Don't let us sit there trying to hustle you if you know you're broke. When customers are respectful and having fun, I have fun. When they're gross, rude or broke, I don't. I think it depends. I see all of the guys as potential for money. If you're rude to me, or if you sit at the bar and don't tip, then I think poorly of you.